Good evening, wine lovers, and welcome to the Save SA Wine live stream. We begin tonight by talking about our um, featured producer of the day. Our featured producer of the day is, just hold on a second, Silverthorn Wines. Silverthorn Wines is a handful of specialist Cap Classique producers in South Africa. And besides making standard Cap Classiques, they also grow olives, almonds, pecans, and vegetables. Um, the Cellar Master, farmer and owner of Silverthorn Farm, this is his picture here. John entered the industry in 1995. See if I can make John's picture a little bit bigger. So we can actually see what it looks like, right? Sorry about that. We seem to be having technical glitches lately. There you go. That's a much nicer picture of John. So John is the cellar master of Silverthorn Wines. Like I said, he entered the industry in 1995. He worked at Moreson, the Wetshof, Beck, and then from 2001 to 2017, he was the cellar master and general manager at Steenberg in Constantia. And in 2019, it saw him building and completion of a 20-year-old dream when he was building his own cellar and tasting room. And John has also been a member of the prestigious Cape Winemakers Guild since 2004. So please support Silverthorn Wines. The web address silverthornwines.co.za. Like I said, they're a specialist Cap Classique producer, so that's fantastic. When you share this, please use the hashtags hashtag 1660, hashtag Save SA Wine, and hashtag Drink South African. So that is your featured winery of the day. And then our quote of the day says, "Wine is a hug in a glass." And this is true, right? When I feel good, tonight's a good time to drink a glass of good South African wine, and the wine will hug you. If you're a winelands business and you need some exposure for your business, as we know, the forecast is that we're not going to have big amounts of tourists coming to South Africa this season. So you're going to have a very arid tourist season for our wineries. So it's important that you get more exposure for your wine, your restaurant, your accommodation, your winelands experience, or your winelands business. And a great way to do this is to use one of our premium service offerings. We do realize that times are tough, and to give you a helping hand, we've decided to give away a 500 Rand credit to you as a gift to kickstart your promotion for summer. And to claim your credit, you can just simply email us with your business details. Just visit thewinelands@gmail.com, or you can sign up on aboutthewinelands.com. Just go to our webpage, aboutthewinelands.com, and we'll send it to you. But you need to hurry. This is a limited offer, and it will be handled on a first come, first serve basis. Then tonight we have a featured podcast again, like with all our live streams. Um, as you guys know, our podcast is basically an interview with somebody in the wine industry, and this is a great way to get exposure for your wineman's business or your winery or your wine. Our featured podcast tonight is with Lucas Wenzel. He's the winemaker at Grotepost, and it's a very interesting interview. They're on the Darling Road, and you can learn how they changed from concentration being in the dairy business to now being a premium wine producer. So without wasting any more further time, listen to the podcast with Lucas Wenzel, winemaker Grotepost.
the flowers is just going to be beautiful. It's probably going to run into November as well.
Can you tell us a bit more about the wines that you produce, and also about your winemaking philosophy?
Yeah, it's actually interesting is when you look at the philosophy, I think overall, it's always difficult to think about one philosophy, because when you do make a lot of different wines, I think in a way there's a philosophy for everyone, every single wine that you make. But overall is my philosophy is that you need to give attention to detail in anything you do. And that starts in the vineyard, and the plantings, the vineyards, and everything you do. So yeah, we've got about 13 wines, of which the method Cap Classique Brut Rosé has been part of this since 2003. And we are going to add we're going to add a Brut towards the end of the year as well. And then we've got a Pinot Noir Rosé, Chenin Blanc, we've got the 2 Old Man's White and Red, unwooded Chardonnay and a Kapok Chardonnay, Riesling, Merlot, Shiraz. And what we've added now is a slightly wooded Sauvignon Blanc called Sea Salter, and a Shiraz Cinsault blend called the Salt of the Earth that we've added to our range. So it's a little bit of an upmarket. We call it our salty range.
When and why did you start or decide to make MCC?
Yes, very interesting is that initially when we made our first bubbly, it was and I had to convince, I mean, first of all, to make bubbly MCC for that matter, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of money. You know, it's not easy. And on the other hand, I wanted our Merlot grapes was very clustered. And to produce a good Merlot, you need to open up the canopy. So that was a good opportunity to convince Peter and Nick and say to them, listen here, I'm not just only going to cut off the bunches, I'm going to use it for making bubbly. And it was more for fun, you know, just a fun, small volumes. But I was never serious, you know, so, and then obviously people loved it, and it was a good talking point. But if you want to go serious into bubbly, you need to use your base varietals, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, that we had on the farm already. So, so moved into that direction, and now we're just making Merlot on its own, you know, not using it for bubbly anymore.
Do you follow traditional methods making MCC?
Yeah, it's very traditional. No, it's very traditional, very basic, very making sure that you're, you know, the whole process from starting, because we're sitting with fantastic grapes, small berries, and it's really nice, intense, good acid that we normally get out of the vineyards. I normally use more Chardonnay. Our blend is Chardonnay Pinot Noir. So very traditional way of looking at. I harvest at different times, but it ends up fermenting together. Some parts will be separate. And then after that, we just get the wine ready for bottling as soon as we can. But very, very basic and very traditional.
Okay, that's awesome. So, and where are your MCCs mostly sold? Mostly in South Africa? Do you export as well?
MCC is mainly in South Africa. We export a slight little bit we sold to the Netherlands. I think we're moving a few bottles, and also to the UK. That's our biggest markets, but mainly South Africa.
Do you think that will change in the future? I think obviously the competition in that market from the Spanish and the Italians, you know, with Prosecco, and also of course the French with Champagne, is very stiff. So do you think the export markets will grow over time?
Obviously, that's now a big question, because that's I think a lot of work needs to be done still. And I think to understand MCC, I mean, your overseas people, I mean, it's difficult for them they don't know the name. So it's going to take a while. But then again, I think South Africans are more catching on to MCC. I think the MCC Association has done a fantastic job in educating people about MCC in South Africa. And I think you could see it in sales. I think it's been one of the better selling wines in the last couple of years in South Africa. and the world for that. But I think still work to be done in overseas. I must say, I think people in overseas understand the other products better. But picking up from especially from the UK, there's a lot of effort going into that to buy MCC from South Africa, and people are enjoying it. So I can only see that growing. But I think our base will always be for a certain time still is locally.
Okay. I see September 1 is a Cap Classique day, where you guys are using the 1st of September as spring day to also sell some of your Cap Classique wines. Do you have anything special planned as a celebration for the 1st of September?
Yeah, what we're going to do, we've got these beautiful flowers. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to have a champagne breakfast. It seems like it's going to be at this stage a nice day, open day, a lot of sun. So what we'll do is we'll have a very nice champagne breakfast in the flowers on the 1st of September, which is probably throw in a little bit of oysters as well, if we can hold of some, which is going to be great. So we will make a nice photos and with all the flowers. So beautiful occasion. I think what we're mainly going to do is we'll do it on our own as at the winery, and just celebrate this beautiful product that is MCC.
So Lucas, do people, if we want to come for this, do we need to book?
Yeah, we will let you know. We will put it on our website and get it out there. I think Peter's already working on it, but they can just go to our website or to our other social medias. It's our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's at Grote Post. That's that, at Grote Post. So they can just go and visit that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also off our website, www.grotepost.co.za.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We will put the links down in the description as well.
Sure.
And,
yeah, I think Peter will send it on to you as well.
Once we have the details, we'll promote it.
Fantastic for us. I mean, it's really great. I think it makes such a huge difference. So suddenly, most of our sales go directly to the people. You know, yesterday we've done so many deliveries in the last, after the first lockdown and now the second lockdown, the orders is coming in, and I think people are picking up onto that. I think direct sales, at least for the next year, will be very popular. You know, people, because the people get good deals from the wineries. They expose to wines that they've never probably would have tried. So it opened the opportunity to show your wine to people which they probably wouldn't have chosen going to a wine shop. And I think that has opened up a little bit for everybody, you know, to expose their wines. And that is an opportunity to work hard on that. And I think your direct sales, online sales, is definitely from the wineries, is definitely going to grow. But it all depends. If you look at people, how they react now after in phase 2, some people don't care anymore. So they just get together and they go to restaurants. I mean, I'm on the beaches. But time will tell. People forget quickly. But I think at least for a small period, at least, I think direct sales is definitely going to be there. And the opportunity it's almost like a rebirth. So you can come out and reinvent yourself, you know. So I think that is the opportunity.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, the whole idea of direct to consumer, because the internet cuts out the middleman. I mean, we've all seen it in Europe and especially in America with Amazon. So, and you know, but this also opens another thing in, and that is from a winery perspective, if you use distributors or traditional sales vehicles, ultimately you don't necessarily talk to the end consumer yourself. But with a direct to customer, it becomes more and more important to actually get your story out to the actual, you know, the drinker of the wine. How do you guys do that? Do you use social media? Do you have any, you know, things that you do to actually talk to your customers on a regular basis?
Yeah, especially now, it's actually because we do that. Our social media, we've been talking to Peter Pence Jr. Nick's son, he's joined us since, I think around about April, and he's done fantastic work on the social media. You know, interactions there is much better than we were before, and that helps a lot. You know, so and what also helps is that even with all these orders we get in, direct orders or the online orders, is that we deliver it ourselves. So we actually go to the person's house and we deliver that. And I went there yesterday, and you actually sees and the people appreciate that. You know, for how long we're going to keep on doing that, that's the other question. But I think it's very important to do that now, and that makes a difference. And I'm sure you're going to win over that people and say,